Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 back again with a preview of tomorrow's game against Aston Villa at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United, Aston Villa, Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Now that is a different kettle of fish to what we've had over previous seasons, and I expect this to be a real examination and a real test so early. The first game of the season, such a difficult game, but it is one I expect Newcastle United to come through. Everybody else on the mother is writing us off already. They reckon 8th, 9th, 10th. They won't be able to cope with an extra 5 or 6 games in European competition and stuff like that. And let them write the column inches, let them flap their gums, let them get excited and think that Liverpool and Chelsea and everybody will just march straight back up to the top of the table. Let them do that. Let them underestimate Newcastle United again, and we will go about our business, no doubt about it. Eddie Howe's press conference today, looking forward to tomorrow's game against Aston Villa. Again, very complimentary, for Aston Villa. Like I say, the huge games between us and them because, there's no doubt about it. I think both teams will be in the European places at the end of the season. So it's really imperative to get off to a good start, get up to a victory. And with how hard our opening games are, it sets you off on a good positive foot, and that's what you want you want to be aiming for. As for Newcastle United, Fabian Schär, that was the big news for me out of the press conference this morning. He has been training since Tuesday, and he's one of them players, if he's been training since Tuesday, the way that he keeps himself sorted and fit and stuff like that he'll be no problem. He'll be in that team tomorrow, I've no doubt about that. And that's a bit of a relief because, no disrespect to Jamal Lascelles, but the way that Aston Villa play with their pace, their power, their physicality and everything, I just think we may have been slightly more exposed if Jamal Lascelles had been playing. I feel a little bit more comfortable with Fabian Schär being back there. And, our defence last season was absolutely the bedrock of the success that we had. And I expect it to be the exact same defence that lines up tomorrow. So I've got no worries, no complaints there. I just feel a little bit more comfortable with Fabian Schär being there as opposed to Jamal Lascelles. Nick Pope back. The issues, the injury that he played with for several months at the end of the season, that has been sorted. That's absolutely great. And then from there, it was just talking today more about more transfers. Hopefully, it's looking like possibly one more, maybe a centre-back coming through the door before the end of the season. And I still expect us to do a couple of deals going out. The likes of Ryan Fraser, Isaac Hayden, Javier Manquillo. I'll get to that one in a minute. But there is quite a few players I still expect to go out. But again, Eddie spoke about the fact that he's really happy with the squad. He just feels that we're one player shy of an ideal amount for squad depth and that sort of thing. So he's happy, he's looking forward to it, he's eager to get going. I think we all are. That documentary last night certainly whetted the appetite. Literally 1 second past midnight, I was straight on it, like a fly around shit. I was straight onto that, watched that through, and it just brought it all back. Sean Longstaff, absolutely really emotional. Everybody spoke so well. The owners came across as, caring, understanding, passionate. Things were clarified that maybe we weren't privy to before with regards to the Saudi day-to-day involvement for the PIF isn't probably as much as what we would think. It's very much delegated to others. It's very much a team ethic at Newcastle United. It was just absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Anthony Gordon, the pursuit of him from last summer through to January. If you haven't watched it already, I would highly recommend that you do take the time to watch it. It's well worth the however much it is per month now for Prime. It's it's absolutely a great viewing, and you learn so much, seeing things from a different perspective, living back the semi-final, getting back through to Wembley, some of the great football. Absolutely great. Cannot wait till next week, to be honest. But back on matters more pressing. He spoke about today in the press conference, Sandro Tonali adapting really well. Spoke about the fact that he's already got friends in the group. The fact that we got him in nice and early has allowed that settling in period to go really well. It's allowed him to feel at home, sort out his personal life, which is also obviously very important when you're coming from another country into England. Happy home life. then produce when you're at work and stuff like that. He spoke about Sean Longstaff. Obviously, he's missed some games this pre-season. He's been involved in training. He will be involved in the game, no doubt about that. So that's another positive, another thumbs up. Javier Manquillo is still he's missing in action again, yet again. I still don't know whether I believe it, to be honest. I don't know whether it's got something to do with. He's saying it's injuries, but he's injured all the time. He barely plays any games, barely plays any minutes, and there's been strong rumours about a return to Spain. We couldn't carry 4 goalkeepers. To me, we can't carry 4 right backs. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of weeks with Javier Manquillo, but he won't be involved in this game. Allegedly, is injured. Joe Willock. Now, this is a bit of a downer. He's not going to be involved the rest of this month, probably most of next. He's having a few complications after his injury at the end of last season, and it's good because he was playing absolutely phenomenally. Whether it would be central, whether it be out on the left, I thought he looked amazing. He looked quick. He looked, everything he was doing certainly had a purpose to it. So to miss him for any sort of extended period is definitely a blow. We have a fantastic squad. We're going to have a really, really good bench tomorrow. But I am a little bit gutted that Joe Willock is missing, because even when he comes back to training, it's going to take him some time to get caught up. He's had no pre-season really, has he? So, he's going to be missing for a little while. But hopefully, fingers crossed, sooner rather than later, Joe Willock is back. He's fit and he's involved and he's firing for Newcastle United. And he gets those Champions League games, because that's what you don't want anybody to miss out on. After everything that was sacrificed, every inch of sweat, blood, tears, the travelling, everything else, you want to get the rewards for all the hard graft of last season. And Willock was absolutely fantastic. Again, injuries, we'll just wrap up on injuries for the time being. Emil Kraft. Obviously, he missed virtually the entirety of last season, and he's still another 6 weeks off being back in full training. Now, when he gets back in full training, that isn't, you're back in full training, you're ready to go into a match day squad. It's going to take him time to get back up, to get used to the tactics, the approach, and everything else. I think we're still talking another maybe 2 months, maybe 2 and a bit months before we even can consider having him back. The Swedish Cafu, that is, no less. And again, gutted for the lad, because he was doing so well up until he got his injury. He'd had his doubters and people knocking him and stuff like that, but he was proving a lot of people wrong. Awful, awful injury, and to be out for a year is absolutely gutting. And that gets us on to Tino Livramento, who's also been out for about a year. He came back for Southampton, didn't he, at the end of last season? He's played in a little bit of the pre-season action over the summer for Southampton. But Eddie Howe, in his press conference today, spoke about Tino Livramento. Very, very highly regarded. He's delighted to get his man. You could just see he was beaming at the deal. I think, again, from what he was saying, look, he's trained fine. He's looked great all week. However, we will integrate him slowly. And similar around the situation like he did with Bruno Guimaraes, I think it's going to be very similar with Tino Livramento. He'll be given minutes. He'll build it up. And he'll slowly get used to his surroundings, his teammates, the system and so forth. I can't see him being thrown in. I really, really can't. I do expect last season's defence to start tomorrow's game. I'll get to what I think the team will be very, very shortly. But again, earlier on this morning, spoke about how he can play on the left-hand side, he can play on the right-hand side. But, the main purpose of what he was signed for is to be a right-back. We've seen Kieran Trippier operate on the left-hand side in big games for England successfully before. So I think there will be some of that during the season. I also think that there'll be lots of rotation needed in between Premier League games at the weekend and European games midweek. Fatigue, workload will be managed and monitored by the scientific people at the club and stuff now. So again, it's going to get plenty of action, but there's no need to throw him in at the deep end. He will be on the bench. I also expect Sandro Tonali to be on the bench, and it might sound a little bit controversial, but again, look back to how he handled Bruno coming in. Look back at the pre-season. Again, pre-season games, they mean very, very little. It's nice that we undefeated, but if you look at that Villa game that we played over in the States against them, I think the physical side of it was probably a bit of a surprise for Tonali. He will adjust, I have no doubt about that, because he is absolute class, absolute cream of the crop, and his stock will rise. His time will come. But just like with Bruno, last year, I think he'll take time and he'll get minutes off the bench, Tonali, to build him up, and then before you know it, he'll be starting more often than not. But I don't see it this weekend. I really, really don't. I want to get to that team ever so soon. And that was the majority, though, of the things that were said on the press conference. There were some extra little bits of what he thought about the documentary and stuff like that. The situation around, which is farcical, really. One person in the technical area, how they'll get around that, how the dynamic will change between him and Mad Dog. We will overcome, we will adapt. He spoke to a little bit about the dark arts, about game management, and saying, look, everybody does it. Everybody does it. So again, a really good press conference. Lots of information, but the key things for me, like I touched upon at the beginning, Fabian Schär, he's fit, he's firing, he's ready to go, and that is a big, big, big relief for me. I can sleep a little easier tonight, and the drive up will be a little bit easier than sort of expecting to see Jamal Lascelles. The team tomorrow, I expect it to be Nick Pope in goal. The defence will be last season's defence. Trippier, obviously Dan Burn on either side for the full-back positions, and then in the middle, Sven Botman and Fabian Schär. Now, in the middle, there is so many different permutations. The squad, despite only getting a few more in, I think the fact that we're bolstered by a couple of good young ones coming through really, really has helped to give him extra options. However, I can't imagine that a Lewis Miley, for example, is going to be thrown in. So to me, it will be Joe Linton. I think we'll need his physicality and his presence in midfield against a very, very difficult Aston Villa team. So I expect to see Joe Linton, Bruno and Sean Longstaff in the middle. That'll be the three, and it's either side again an embarrassment of riches. Anthony Gordon, he could start up top, but to me it's a decision on who to start between him and Harvey Barnes for that wide left and position. But again, with the amount of games and the cup games and stuff like that, everybody's going to get so many minutes this campaign, so it really doesn't matter, and you know he'll be pushing that fact that everybody's rowing together in the same direction. I think we may see a new boy start in this one, despite the fact Anthony Gordon, he's been fantastic for England. He's looked great for Newcastle United over the summer. Again, you're talking about managing workload. He hasn't really had a summer break, so I think he will go a little bit steadier with Anthony Gordon. I think he's going to start Harvey Barnes and getting him, cutting in on his other foot from the left-hand side and trying to get the goals early on in his Newcastle United career and trying to get the assists laid on to Callum Wilson, who I expect to start up top, which will mean Isak on the bench, which is... Again, it wasn't too long ago we've had some absolute corkers, you know what I mean, the Gouffran days and stuff like that, and now we're even like a £60 million plus player in Alexander Isak on the bench. I just think, again, we're talking about a physical side and a physical approach needed to tackle Aston Villa, and I see it better starting with Callum Wilson and bringing Isak on than the other way around. That's my thinking. And then on the other side, again, you've got Jacob Murphy scoring a goal at St James's Park from right back last time out, but no, I think it'll be Miguel Miron for his work rate. Again, he likes to cut inside, he likes to get shots away, he'll score your goals, he'll get your assists, and he'll graft all day long. And I think in a lot of the team that I've just gone through there, I think it's going to be key, and it's going to be so important that everybody puts everything in, because this isn't the Aston Villa side of old. This isn't the sort of soft touch away from home type job. This is a totally and utterly different outfit. They've signed some great players, no doubt about it, over this summer, and they are a real threat with regards to European places this season. So can't take them lightly. I do expect Newcastle United to get the victory. I'm going to go for, I don't think it's going to be like a hugely amount of goals, but a 2-0 for Newcastle United. I will take that all day long, and then we'll roll on. The season is back. Thank fuck. Seriously, you know, I just cannot wait. Graph's, well, I think Graph's done. Graph's just about done. I'm just on now. Still grafting. You know me, Mr. No Days Off, but yeah, can't wait to get back for, you know, Premier League action. Unbelievable. And yeah, it just leaves me to say, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Magpie 24/7. We are desperately trying to claw over that 2,000. So your support, your ongoing trust, your everything on hitting that subscribe button, hitting the like button, hitting the bell, you know, icon and stuff as well. It does mean a heck of a lot. We are trying to get over that. 127,000 now followers on Magpie 24/7 across all, you know, the major social media like brands, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days. We've got Threads, Instagram, Facebook, but it's YouTube. Like I say, 127,500 I think we're at the moment followers. But we're just trying to get that YouTube over the 2,000. So we appreciate your continued support. It doesn't cost anything, but it means a heck of a lot. You know, that you continue to back us, you continue to subscribe and support us on our journey with Magpie 24/7. So yeah, over the moon to be back. There will be a review. There will be also as well plenty of footage from before you know, the game kicks off, some during and some after, up on the channel tomorrow. We'll then get a review up of the game just as soon as possible, and back to normal service on Magpie 24/7, and back to normal service for Newcastle United, back in action finally.